Good morning, piano people. I'm Russell. This is the Piano Outlet here in Coral Springs, Florida. And today is Tuesday. I don't know, I think it's January 25th or something like that. 2022, the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. And this morning I want to talk about this piano here that's going out to Dusk. That's a name, believe it or not. It's Dusk. And he's in San Diego. He's got a recording studio down there. And we're going to be sending him this piano very shortly. It's very much like the same piano we just sent out to Cancun for a performance with Andrea Bocelli. What makes this kind of interesting is the fact that this piano is 40 years old. It's about a 1980. And one of the things that I'm always faced with when people call me, they always want the newest piano that I have. And naturally, the newest piano is going to be the most expensive. And I always explain whether it's a 2020 piano or a 1980 piano, it's really the same thing. As long as the piano has not undergone a lot of use and is worn, the same thing. It's just a piano. Now, obviously, when it's 40 years old, it's going to not look as nice as one that's from 2020. But even one from 2020 or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it's still not going to look brand new. It's still going to be dirty inside. And, anyway, we never really get any pianos that new anyway because most people keep the piano for 25 years or a whole generation. So therefore, the best way that you can get the greatest piano possible for the least amount of money is to go with a piano that's a little older. Now remember, a piano isn't like an iPad or it's not like a brand new car with all the latest features and bells and whistles. Believe it or not, this piano here is pretty much the same as a 2022 C7. The only thing is it didn't come in this way. So what I want to talk about is a lot of the things that we do, okay? So let's look at a piano that came in that is like at the other end of the spectrum, a piano that is not sold yet, because we only work on pianos as they get sold. So with this vast inventory here, there are pianos in here that don't look like this, because they are the way I receive them from Japan. So let's walk over here, just to this one piano over here. Now, as you can see, if you look inside this piano, over here, all these tuning pins, you'll see that this piano is left with open. Basically, all grand pianos are pretty much left open, and this one's from the 1970s, and you'll see it's very, dirty inside. It's got some rust in it, but it's not so bad. The most important thing is that there's not a lot of wear on the hammers and the sound, because face it, the whole reason for the good piano is for the sound. And what we want to listen for is a nice full bass. Which you notice, this doesn't have. The reason is because they're old. So that's the main reason why we change strings, is because when we change a whole set of strings in the piano, it's going to sound better. Then when we have the strings out, then we can get in and we can clean and we can detail and we can make the piano magnificent. And as a matter of fact, right now, Russell Jr. is working on a Yamaha C5 down there that came in, that was kind of neglected when it came in, and it's a newer piano than this G3 over here, but it was pretty bad inside, and I just want to show you where we are with this piano. So, by the way, this is Russell Jr. Russell Jr., say hi to the piano people.
Hello.
So, if the camera come along over here, as you can see, we've got two projects in the works over here. As a matter of fact, over here we got a C3. We got all the strings pulled out of this C3. It's like one step behind this C5. Now this C5, we did something special to it. We put a custom color plate in here. It's a copper color, which is very similar to the color that they're using in today's brand new C5s. So we updated it with the color. And now that all the strings are out, we put all new felts in there. Actually, with this piano here, we even put new A-grafts in it. We have new pin bushings over here before we put the strings in. And then all of these are brand new felts. The old felts are over here. These are the felts that came from the factory. And what we do is we use the old felts as a template to make the new felts. So they go in exactly like they should, okay? As a matter of fact, here's how the stringing felt comes. It comes like this in these strips, and they're all cut to fit. All these here, this part here, this is actually the replacement for this. And we use this as a template to make this. Very, very simple. And then this is gonna go like right here before we put the strings in. So then, after we get the strings in, you basically have a brand new piano all over again. And this is what makes the piano come out like a brand new one. And the piano could be 25, 35, 40 years old. I really don't recommend any Yamaha beyond the age of, let's say, the early 1970s, because they have a completely different action mechanism. And so it would be hard to work on those type of pianos. So the oldest we usually would get in probably be from like 1975. Okay, so let's go back to Dusk C7 over here and show you some things about it. The soundboard is nice and light, okay? Older pianos, they came from the factory with a very, very dark finish on them because it was varnish. And the varnish turns very, very dark. So we have to strip down the soundboard, sand it down to its natural color, the light wood, put a new Yamaha decal, and then, as you could see, Russell Jr. did the felts in here. We put all new graphite. This is this dark material in here is called graphite. It's for the strings, so they vibrate nice and easy against the bridge. And you see each one of these bridge pins. These are bridge pins. These are clean too. Okay, so we're very, very, very attentive to detail. If you look at these are hitch pins. You see how nice and clean and shiny they are, because the piano not only is a beautiful instrument, the piano not only is an instrument to listen to, but also should be beautiful. And a lot of our clients really want the piano for more decoration than use, because not a lot of people play the piano. But this piano will please anybody. It will please Dusk, who's got a recording studio, and it'll make somebody very, very happy who's got a beautiful house and they want the piano to look beautiful in their home. So if the camera come around here, we just look at these. And I just want to show what's really interesting about this is that mostly everything in this piano is 100% original, okay? If you look at these dampers here, these are called the dampers, and they go up and down, and they let the strings vibrate, okay? Now, if you notice, these are all original. We do not have to change these because they're original in perfect condition, so it doesn't make any sense to change them, okay? And if you do change them, then they're really, really hard to get working right, because it takes a long time for these dampers to mate with the strings and work properly. So the other thing that I want to show you is this. This is the action. This is what actually makes the piano play. Now, if you can believe this or not, this piano has the same exact action in it as a brand new 2022 coming out of the factory. The most important thing that you look for, you just look at the hammers. Look how everything in here is the same. Nothing's been replaced. Everything is the same color, because if this hammer broke and I put a new one, it would be light because it would be new. So what we're looking for is lack of oxidation. You see how nice and clean. So obviously we did clean this, okay, but it's not the type of thing where you have to replace everything because it's all rusted or it's old. It pretty much looked like this when it came out of the piano, okay? Because this piano came out of a home in Japan and had very, very, very little use, and you could tell that by the hammers. Now, that's one thing that people do ask me on the phone when they're asking me about a piano. They say, did you put new hammers in? I always say, no, I do not buy pianos that need hammers. Because if they need hammers, then they need everything else. It's just like if you were going to buy a car with 300,000 miles on the engine, and if you put a new engine in it, yeah, you'd have a new engine, but what about everything else? What about the radiator? What about the air conditioning? What about the brakes? What about the upholstery? Same thing with the piano. If you have to change hammers on the piano, don't buy the piano, because the proper way to change the hammers on the piano is to buy them right from Yamaha, and they'll cost you about $4,000 or $5,000, because when Yamaha sends you a set of hammers, they send you the whole set. They send you the hammer, the shank, the flange, okay, all for that specific piano with that serial number, okay? And the other way that people will replace these hammers is just to pop the hammers off and put different hammers on that aren't Yamaha. Don't ever buy a piano that doesn't have the original Yamaha hammers that belong in there, because the piano's never going to behave or sound the same. Okay, so the other thing I just wanted to show you for the heck of it is just a real, tour of the piano. I already showed you the inside over here and the strings, but actually look over here. This is the key bed. This is where the action rests, okay? And if you just look inside here, we did not replace all of this. This is the way it came to us. All our pianos that we buy come to us in this type of condition, where everything is nice and fresh looking and not worn and not eaten away by moths or cigarettes or all the things that you don't want in a used piano. So we're very, very specific and picky to the pianos that we buy. That's why we buy them out of private homes, because you get them like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the action in the piano, demonstrate how to do that. Don't do this at home yourself. Now remember, a piano like this, the Yamaha C7 these days, has an MSRP of somewhere north of $85,000. That's scary. And these pianos here, I mean, any piano that's like this is going to be expensive, but a C7 really expensive. But when you consider that they're $85,000 brand new, and this one we usually will sell for around the 20s, low 20s, or around 20. It just depends on what we have in at the time. All right, let's get these key blocks in. By the way, these are called key blocks. And these screws hold down the key blocks. All right, the full board. There you go. We're going to put the music desk back in. And there we go. Now I'm going to play it for you a little bit. The camera's going to pan around the piano so you can get some nice looks on the cosmetics of it. And then let's go get a piano bench. takes you from a little bit of Rachmaninoff, a little bit of Franz Liszt, to some Billy Joel and Scott Joplin. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and give me a like or two. Thank you.